Sorry about that. This is take 3. I have a problem with my OBS. Again, like I said, no intro today. Getting straight into this.
Alright me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I've begun uploading some content over onto Rumble as well, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that site too. Also, give me a follow on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to my account at all times for your reference. But alright, let's dig into Tales of the Shire and its connections to Sweet Baby Inc. First of all, if you aren't familiar with what Tales of the Shire even is, I won't blame you because it's kind of a small-time game, but it's one of those so-called cozy games, kind of like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. You play as a hobbit in the Shire, where you build your hobbit hole and harvest crops and make friends with other hobbits, stuff like that. The premise itself isn't the worst idea in the world, I suppose. It's not my style of game, but some people like it, I guess. The problem is that, first of all, this game's graphics look like cat piss. It looks like it belongs on the PS2 or the Nintendo Wii, and people have blasted it for this. But on top of that, people have been blasting this game for the culture war shit that they have injected into it.
Well, it is quite true. I don't know if you know this. If you look at the picture for those who made Tales of the Shire, you can kind of guess who they are. Don't forget, this is about Tolkien's work. You still remember Rings of Power, don't you? How that ended up. I don't know if they already greenlit a season 3 for Rings of Power. I could be wrong on that. Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But then again, don't forget, this is for people who just want to relax, okay? Cozy stuff. I don't think anyone will be bothered by it, but that's just me.
Gandalf, as you can see here, is fabulous in this game. He looks like a fairy princess, for cripe's sake, and they've included black hobbits in the game, which is simply not what J.r.r. Tolkien intended in his story.
Nope.
To be clear, and this argument has been ongoing ever since the Rings of Power was shat onto the TV screen like a bad case of diarrhea, but to be clear, Tolkien intended his works to be an English myth, written about English people. And as much as progressives keep trying to push the idea that black folks lived everywhere, that simply isn't true. English folks have pale skin from having lived for centuries on a cold, rainy island in the north.
That is true, and don't forget one thing, even though there are blacks, but most of those blacks were either from the colonies, such as Africa, or either French Indochina, or perhaps French Africa. Depends on those. There were colonies. Well, back then, back during World War II or anything, they weren't official a nation, but that's besides the point. But the majority of them, pale white skin in England. Same goes for Europeans, America. It's just how it is. Yes, there are blacks, but the percentage of them is not similar when it comes to white or blacks or even Hispanic.
There isn't much sun, and the people of Middle-earth were meant to reflect those people. There were darker-skinned folks that lived in the faraway regions of Middle-earth, and they were specifically described by Tolkien with that separating characteristic, the swarthy skin, but they weren't hobbits, they were the Haradrim and the Easterlings. In any case, this game has been largely rejected. Every trailer they put out gets ratioed like crazy and made fun of by people who can't stand this culture war crap being grafted onto Tolkien's work like a disgusting and dead alien appendage. It's unsurprising that we have learned that Sweet Baby Inc. worked on this turd.
I don't know if anybody is shocked by that. Were you guys shocked to hear Sweet Baby Inc. work on this? Because I wasn't. I knew something was wrong, although I don't have enough evidence. Now I do. And as for Directive A020, the only evidence I have when it comes to that, whether it's woke or not, is because Supermassive Games is partnered by Outmaking Games, the same one who censored GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. And that's it. I'm gonna need more evidence on that one.
That Sweet Baby Inc. worked on this turd, though it is worth noting that all of the rejection for the game thus far came before we even knew that they were involved. Before the crybabies come out and start whining about how people are just being mean to the poor little narrative consulting firm, gamers were ripping Tales of the Shire to shreds long before we even knew that Sweet Baby was involved, which tells you that gamers are just utterly against the sort of crap that these doofuses produce. But,
you know, I just remember something. I'm still using ChatGPT. I type on ChatGPT saying that Sweet Baby Inc. detected, or no wait, Sweet Baby Inc. threatens to sue a YouTuber who happens to be the son of Xi Jinping. And I got a lot of paragraph on that one. Except I put it alt scene, okay? Alt 2025 scene, okay? That's how it is. Yes, AI may not be good, but at least it's doing something right. There's still going to be some issues, and it's going to be needed a human reviewer when it comes to either translation or art.
This information about Sweet Baby being a part of the development of Tales of the Shire comes to us from friend of the channel, Master of the TDS, as he's known over on X, and you can find he and his wife, Writing Raven, on their channel on YouTube, Gothic Therapy. But anyhow, he tweeted here, Sweet Baby Inc. detected. Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game, was consulted on by Sweet Baby Inc., confirmed via Cameron Wild's LinkedIn. Not sure why you need Sweet Baby Inc. to do sensitivity reading for a Lord of the Rings game. And yes, that is precisely my question. Who the hell do these pretentious and arrogant schmucks think they are, imposing their views on a classic like Tolkien's work? The Lord of the Rings was categorically not written with the modern audience in mind. I promise.
That could be true. You know, I think ever since the start of Rings of Power, people can see that thing a mile away. Anything that is written by Tolkien, or perhaps a game based on Tolkien, they knew it's not going to be good because they've seen Rings of Power. I'm 100% certain that people who watch this, or perhaps people who are criticizing the developers of Tales of the Shire, have seen Rings of Power. They knew, and they're not going to be fooled twice. You can fool them once, but more than twice? Oh, no. You're not getting away.
I promise you right now that Tolkien would not give a rat's ass what these blue-haired dingleberries and land whales in the progressive movement think about him and his work. He was very particular about how his stuff was adapted. But anyhow, then Master of the TDS added a couple images to his post on X. This one here shows Cameron Wild's profile picture. Cameron is listed as a they/them. Isn't that precious? And this person is apparently a writer at Sweet Baby Inc. And then, if you look here, this image is a LinkedIn list of the projects that Cameron has worked on, and you can clearly see that Sweet Baby got their grubby paws on Tales of the Shire. Cameron is listed as doing writing for the game and a sensitivity reading. This officially makes Tales of the Shire a Sweet Baby Inc. game, and Cabrutus Rambo should add it to his DEI detected list over on Steam. For anyone who may not know or remember, this DEI detected page on Steam is a curated list of games that the creator recommends that you avoid. It started off being called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, and it was a list of all the games that they were known to have worked on. And, as you can see, the list is at damn near 500,000 gamers that are members of it, and this is, of course, why Sweet Baby is going so far out of their way to hide their work on games like Tales of the Shire, because gamers are avoiding games like this.
I wouldn't go that far, though. All it's gonna take is just one wrong move from either Cameron Wild, Chris Kendrick, or even Kim Belair to permanently end Sweet Baby Inc. as a company. What happens in the end? You, I don't know, suddenly threaten to sue a YouTuber who happens to be the Yakuza? Or better yet, President Donald Trump or Xi Jinping? How are you going to respond to that, Sweet Baby Inc.? No, genuinely. Honestly, I think ever since Rings of Power, in my opinion, people can see that a mile away. Unless if you want to see a real classic, just visit the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Or perhaps if you want, if you have emulators on your computer, such as PS2 emulator, you can download Lord of the Rings PS2, such as The Return of the King. It's good. Although a little bit side note, there will be a lot of copyright claims, such as the music, the scene, you know how it is. This is movie tie-in, so it's a bit difficult. Gunter Schabowski. His comment apparently lit a spark not to just tear down the Berlin Wall, but to unite Germany. It was his unprepared comment, and after that, there was no turning back. It was too little, too late. And it's gonna be same with this, which I'm gonna keep on saying this. This is a quote from Captain Price, Modern Warfare 3 2011. How quickly people forget that all it takes to change one course of history is the will of a single man. It may not be relevant to any of you, but for me, I consider it relevant. Honestly, I think people who are Lord of the Rings fans, they see this a mile away. They're not stupid. You fool them once, that's okay, but fool them more than once or twice? Oh, no, you're not getting away. Nobody's stupid.
Well done, Griffin. Now we got this airfield secured, we can get a foothold on this island and start pushing the Japanese back. We're through retreating, lad. America's back in this war.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want woke or anti-woke detected, or you just want to see me play games, or perhaps you like trending topics. Visit my second, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.